Hello, everybody. Welcome to a tadbitmorefit.com, where we talk about the little things in life that make a big difference. And I'm excited about this time. As a matter of fact, this is one of the webinars I look most forward to doing because I love sharing this information with people. My entire life, people always ask me, what's your secret? What's your secret? And I think at 50 years old now, looking back through my life and always explaining to people, really the things that I do aren't that dramatically different than everybody else. It's all these little things I do along the way, and that's what I really want to teach you about. So many people today have allowed themselves to get completely out of shape, and what happens is they think they've got to do some sort of huge monumental workout, huge monumental diet to try and make change in their life and to reach their goals, but that's why they always set themselves up for failure. And those are the things that we're dealing with through this webinar, through a tadbitmorefit.com, is teaching you little things you can change, small things, that if you're consistent in doing them, they'll make a really big difference in your life. Well, today we're talking about calories that count. Calories that count. I love this. I'm going to do something really special. But first, let me explain to you, in case this is your first time watching this webinar, how it's going to work. You've got me on the stream here, obviously on video, but over to your right, you've got a PowerPoint presentation. And that actually has controls on it. Right and left arrow, and then you're going to see it also has the slides numbered. So as I go through my presentation, those of you that are watching live, I'm going to talk you through it, and you'll actually advance the slides yourself, and that enables you to go back and forth and look at some of the information at your leisure. Once I'm done with this webinar, the live broadcast will go, or the recorded broadcast will go up and stay up until I do the next one. During that time, you'll still have controls over it, but once it goes into the archive, which, by the way, after today's presentation, if you haven't seen the other webinars I've done so far, on your top right, it has a icon that you can click on to watch my other webinars. Once it goes into that area and you're watching it from the archives, you no longer have control over the PowerPoint presentation. It automatically advances as I do the presentation. That's important for you to know, because if you're watching in the archive and you're trying to click, 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 you keep pausing the video and you don't know what's going on because it's advancing itself and all you're doing is pausing the video. So I'll make that clear up front so that you know. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, let's practice. Let's click on the right arrow in the little circle down there and go to slide number 2 of 60 and look at my beautiful hair from the 1980s. Just introduce myself in case you're new here. My name is Tad. My wife of 25 years, my wonderful bride, Dr. Gina Tomaseski, and I have been in the health and wellness industry our entire lives. We've been together 27 years, married 25, and when we first got married, we'd won Mr. and Miss Missouri. We both won national bodybuilding championships. After having the kids, my wife went into fitness, got her IFBB Pro card, was a top fitness competitor in the country, and then also she went into NASCAR, as you can see on the bottom left, made history in NASCAR as the leader of the first all-female pit crew, being the Jack Girl. And now today she's in competitive rowing just for this last year and is kicking tail at 50 years old. Rowed up against everybody from the best in the world, only doing it for a year now, and she's doing fantastic. And she's a lifelong competitor. We're lifelong people as it relates to our health and wellness. But if you were to follow us day to day, if you were to look at our lives, a lot of people look at us physically, at our physiques, and they go, man, you must just do so much. But if you were to follow us day to day, you would see that really it's little things that we do throughout the day. Our life isn't as dramatically different as people think. We do little things that are different than what other people do, and we've done them consistently, and that's what's made such a big difference in our life. So I want to teach you some of those little things, and today what I want to do is I want to talk about the calories that count. First, let's review briefly what I talked about last Tuesday. Go to slide number 3, and that is that there is no shortage of diets. This is a very small piece of all the diets that exist out there. There's more than we could ever list or talk about, because everybody always wants to know the secret diet. What's the secret diet? What it's going to be? And this is what I taught you all last Tuesday. You can watch the old archived webinar on this. Go to slide number 4, and that is that every diet, if it works, it comes down to the same equation, plain and simple. And that is calories in minus calories burned equals calories stored. Hey, hey, hey. It's that simple. Calories in minus calories burned equals calories stored. So you can slice it and dice it any possible way you want. In the end, are there glycemic index issues and different things like that? Yeah, but I'm telling you guys, that's a little thing that doesn't make a big difference. It's a little thing that makes such a little difference. It's not significant to you to know that. What you need to know is the most important thing, and that is the equation. That is the calories in minus the calories burned always equals the calories stored. Go to slide number 5, and that's where I taught you all my name that I gave it, and that is your fat cells or your metabolic junk drawers. So if you're eating more than you're burning, what's getting stored is the extra, because your body doesn't know that it doesn't need those calories. It's afraid you're going to get stuck on an island one day, or it doesn't know there's a McDonald's in every corner. So therefore your body is built to preserve itself. So it's kind of like your junk drawer in your house, right? That's where you put stuff you know might need one day, but you don't need it right now, so you store it away. That's what your body's doing with those calories. That's simple. It's not saying I want to be fat. It's saying I can't use these now. I might need it. Let's stick it in there. And that's why they're your metabolic junk drawers being stored. So how do we empty them out? How do we get less? You never get rid of fat, but we put less in the fat, and the fat shrinks. It's that simple. Go to slide number 6, and that's just working the equation. Less calories in plus more calories burned equals less calories stored. Hey. Gets a little lighter, okay? So what we're dealing with today, what I want to talk about is the calories in. We're going to get into calories in and talk about that. And I want to do something that I love doing. I did this when we had our physical therapy and personal training centers down in Florida. I'm going to take you on a grocery store tour. Why? Because I've got to educate you first. Here's the problem with calories in. People have no clue how many calories they're really putting in. People have no clue what kind of calories are actually in their food because they've never stopped to really think about it. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to teach you about the calories that count and how to be able to make small differences as it relates to your calories, that when you add them all together at the end of the day, at the end of the week, the end of the month, the end of the year, it all makes a very big difference. And because of marketing today, it's very difficult to know exactly what's the truth. Because we live in a world today where every food manufacturer is trying to make you think their food is something that it really isn't, and trying to get you to buy because of the craze of people wanting to lose weight or be healthy or whatever else. So go to slide number 7, and let me start with this, because to me this is one of the best examples to give you an idea of how a label can be very deceiving in you thinking you're going to lose weight or save calories, right? So this is a bottle of Pam spray. We've all seen it. We've all used it. I use it every day. But it says for fat-free cooking, right? And if you look at the back, look at the calories. 0 calories and 0 calories from fat. It's fat-free. Funniest thing is when I did my grocery store tour with one of my groups down in Florida once, a lady client of mine really thought it was fat-free. So she, instead of putting oil in things, would take an entire can of Pam spray, and that was my joke. She'd sit there filling her Fry Daddy. Her finger would be cramped up and calloused from emptying so many bottles of Pam into her Fry Daddy, because somehow it was a magically fat-free oil. It's not. Let me show you something. Look at what the arrow's pointing at. I want you to see the serving size. What does it say? 1/4 of a second spray. 1/4 of a second. 1/4 of a second. Are you reading that? Are you serious? Okay, so here's the serving size. I couldn't hit the button that quick. It'd be like, no, that was 1/3 of a second. No, that was 1/2 a second. You couldn't hit it that fast. Why did they do that, and how can they get away with that? Because the FDA says that the amount of fat in a serving is less than 1/2 gram, you don't have to claim it. You can say there's 0 if it's less than 1/2 calorie, or 1/2 gram. So in 1 gram of fat, there's 9 calories. So if you can get it down to 4 calories in a serving, then you don't have to claim it. Well, let's just get the serving size down so small that there's 4 calories or less of fat, and that's what they did. 1/4 of a second of a spray. Listen, an average spray of Pam is, and that's a quick one. How many fourths of a second is that? Okay, so in that 1 can, it says it's 930 servings. In that case, if a serving was really a serving, it would last you your entire life. You could pass it down in your will to your children, and they could inherit your Pam. So here's the deal. It's 100% calories from fat, 100%, okay? Now, am I saying you should not use Pam spray? No, I use it. It's great because it's convenient. You'll use less. If you pour cooking oil into something, you're typically going to use more in the Pam. But it's not fat-free. It is 100% oil, 100% fat. Now, I bring that up front because I want you to understand that's what this course is about today, this webinar, is educating you on labels and understanding food and understanding the content that's in it, that's the calories. Because if we're going to get less in, we got to know how much we're taking in. A lot of people run their calories like they run their money. They think that when the bank sends them a statement, when the card gets rejected, they're out of money. It's not the way it works. You need to know how many calories you're taking in. You need to know how many calories are in your food so you can make educated decisions, smart decisions, little decisions along the way that make a big difference. So that's our first example. Let's go to slide number 8, and let's talk about meat, because this is a big deal. I always have people will invite me over, and they say they know how I eat, and if anybody ever invites me over to eat, they always make special concessions for me, and they'll say, Tad, don't worry about it, man. I got the 80% lean ground beef, so you're going to love it. And I go, oh my goodness, you don't even know what that is. Okay, first let me break this down for you. As it relates to your fat intake in general, ideally you want to be somewhere between 20 to 30%. Okay, 20 to 30%, 20% is ideal, 30% is the highest you want to go overall. And I'm going to teach you, you can have some exceptions somewhere and make it up in other areas, okay? But that's where you want to end up, is in the 20 to 30% range by the time you accumulate your calories for the day and for each meal, and then also for the day. So let's look at this 80% lean, right? Because you think about it, well, that was put us in here, right? It's 20% fat, it's 80% lean. Look at the calories and look at the calories from fat. And I'm going to teach you how to be able to calculate your calories from fat. First of all, you don't have to be a math genius. We all have one of these cell phones, and they all have a calculator on it nowadays. That's what's great. We don't ever have to do math again. All you have to do is take the calories from fat, which is listed on all FDA labels now, divide the calories from fat by the total calories, not the other way around. So we're taking calories from fat, 210, divided by 290, and that shows us the percentage of fat. How much of those calories, what percentage of that is of those total calories is from fat? And this is actually 72% fat. 72, not 20. 72%. Tad, how can they get away with that? First of all, they're saying 20% by weight. Okay? So by weight, first of all, that would say 1 gram of fat is equal to 1 gram of protein. Well, the problem is 1 gram of fat is 9 calories per gram. 1 gram of protein is 4 calories per gram. That already throws us 250% off in the equation. Then on top of it, they can calculate in moisture, water. How much moisture is in ground beef? You see it, it cooks off. Everything as you're going. Some of that's oil, but a lot of it's moisture as well too. Well, the great deal is moisture, water has weight, and you count that in the amount of weight. And you know how many calories are in water? 0. So that's 100% lean on those calories. So in the end, this is how they're able to tell, this is how they determine and tell you what the percentage is, but it's not. It's really 72% fat in an 80-20 ground beef. Go to the next slide, slide 9. Now let's go to a 90-10. That sounds a lot better, right? Well, 90-10, you see the math here. We're at 50% fat. It's better. It's a whole lot better than we just were, because where we just were was at 72% fat. Now we're at 50% fat. That's a big decrease, and that's a lot better. But it can still get better than that. But I also want you to pay attention to one other thing I forgot to mention in the previous slide, and that is the serving size. The serving size on all of these I'm reading to you is 4 ounces. This will be important in just a moment, because you can see to the left on this one, it says 80-20 equals 290. I'm tracking the calories in each one because the calories per serving is all the same. Although I'm talking fat, what I'm going to do is help equate fats to calories to you, because in the end, I didn't say fat in minus fat burns equals fat stored. I said calories in minus calories burned equals calories stored. So I'm going to teach you what makes up calories and what calories count, okay? So in the same serving now, that one was 290, this one is 200, but we're still at 50% fat. Let's go to the next slide, slide number 10. Now we're at a 93.7 beef, man, and people get to 93.7, they think, oh man, I'm on a bodybuilding diet at this point, this is so lean. But look at the fat at a 93.7. You're still at 41% calories from fat, okay? Still a lot better. We're down from 50, we're down from 73%. We're doing a whole lot better, but now we're looking at calories. The 80-20, see it listed there to the right lower? 80-20 was 290, the 90-10 was 200. Now this one's 170. It's 41% fat, but for the same 4 ounces, it's at 170. Proportionately, as our fat's going down, our protein's going up. Go one more slide to slide number 11. Now this is a 98.2. This is what I eat, okay, a 98.2. A 98.2, you see the math on top, actually gets your fat down to 17% fat. Wow, that's awesome. They got a great 98.2 at Tom Thumb is where I get mine from the butcher counter. You can go anywhere, though, you can find it. They don't always have a 98.2 at a lot of places, but as long as you get yourself at least at least a 97.3 or 96.4 at the worst. You're getting your fat percentage down where it needs to be. But let's look at this 98.2. Same serving size, 4 ounces. Now we're down to 17% fat, well within our 20% range for ideal, okay? And if you look at the calories, though, now to the left, we started at 290 for the same amount, same serving. Now we're down to 120. When you do the math, divide 120 where we're at by the 290, that's 41%. You got to reverse that to see how much we decrease. We literally just made a 59% calorie reduction. 59%. What if I told you you could lose 59% of the fat on your body right now? Would you be excited or what? Okay? So 59% calorie reduction by making a little adjustment. Instead of grabbing the 80-20, I grab the 98-2. Okay? Now again, you can go a little further if you want. Stay with the 93.7 or go to 90. But remember, this is a little thing. This is a little thing that makes a big difference because we're talking a 59% reduction in calories. And consequently, you're getting more protein, which is good to help keep your lean muscle mass up and keep your blood sugars leveled as well too. Are you guys excited about that? Did you get that? Most people have no clue when they read the labels and it says percentage of fat, how much is actually in it. Let's go to the next slide, slide number 12, because a lot of people say this, hey, well, I'm just going to get ground turkey. I'm going to get ground turkey because that's a lot leaner. Well, first of all, the one on the left here, I didn't get a picture of the regular ground turkey, but I got the nutritional facts from online here to the left. A typical ground turkey is going to be about a 13% lean or 13% fat, which is going to be an 87% lean is what they're going to call it. Well, that actually, when you look at the calories, is 56% fat. What do you mean? No, ground turkey's lean. No, ground turkey doesn't necessarily mean it's lean. Why? Because they put in dark meat, they put in skins, they put in all the other stuff. If you look at this other one over to the right, this is actually a good one. This is actually a lean one, a not very. It's 170 and 70, which still is 41% fat. Okay, these are ranking us up there higher, as high as the fattier red meats we look at. So the reason this is important is a lot of people are eating ground turkey going, well, I'm doing a lot better. I'm doing a lot better because I'm not eating that ground beef. And then they don't even love the taste, and they're getting the same amount of fat, the same amount of calories, and they're not losing weight. And they go, what's wrong? Why aren't I losing weight? Well, how come I can't lose weight? I'm doing so good. I'm eating all this ground turkey. Because you haven't changed anything. That's why you got to know what the calories are going in. That is so crucial, so important. Go to the next slide now. Go to slide number 13. But this gives you an example. There's an even leaner one, okay? And the even leaner one now takes it all the way down to 13% fat. Now, when you look at that from the even, not the bad one, but the one that was not as bad that we just came from, that's a 30% calorie reduction. Now, is 30% a big deal? I don't know. If you could lose 30% of the fat on your body right now, would you do it? You would. Most everybody would. So the point is, in the end, it's a small thing. It's a little thing. Just reading the label, understanding what it is when you're making your decisions, making an educated decision, an educated choice is going to determine the outcome every single time. And if we can make a little bit better decision each time, a little bit better choice, we'll see big results as time passes. That's why this is so crucial. What's the difference between it? If you look at the ingredients on this one, in the ingredients deal, it says turkey breast. If you go back to the previous slide at 12, you look at the ingredients, it says turkey, not turkey breast. Why? Because they're just sticking the whole stinking turkey in there. Skins, whatever, everything. It's not just the turkey breast. That's why there's so much fat in it. So it's a small thing that's going to make a really big difference. Let's talk about other meats, because again, meats are a big staple. It's where a lot of people go wrong. Go to slide number 14. Chicken thighs, okay? Chicken thighs, here they are right here. Do the math on it, real simple. 62% fat in these chicken thighs. Go to slide number 15. If we go to chicken drumsticks, it's 50% fat from calories. That's better, right? So if you have a choice between thighs and drumsticks, that's a what did I decide to say, 62 to 50? That's a 12% better decision. That's going to make a difference in what you do. Now go to slide number 16. We're boneless, skinless thighs. Not boneless, skinless breasts. Listen to me. Boneless, skinless thighs. Now we're at 30% fat. Wow, that dropped us down from our original when we're at the regular chicken thighs. We're at 62% fat. Just by taking the skin off, we went down to 30% fat. More than a 50% reduction in the amount of fat that was in it. That's where it's all at, in the skin. And if we go to the final one, number 17, to the chicken breast skinless, Now we're down to 19% fat. Got us well down below our ideal range, below 20. But even the skinless thighs had us at 30%, which gets us in an acceptable range. So, but Tad, I don't like that. I don't like these. You can make concessions. Listen, here's what we're getting down to. We're not just talking fat, guys. What we're talking in the end is calories. Because if you look at this, it's 130 calories, but you go to the original, it's 240 calories. So literally, you're at almost half the calories. So you're getting less calories in, so there's going to be less stored. It's not that you need to be totally concerned about the fat, but you have to understand, fat per gram is 9 calories, protein is 4. Same way carbohydrates is 4, fat is 9. So it's more than double the calories of carbohydrates or fats, and that's why you got to watch when things are higher in fat. That's why you need to understand how to read the labels, how to understand what fat is in there, so that when you're making your decision, you know how to make those small adjustments. Let's go to the next slide, slide 18. Eggs. Everybody says eggs are bad for you, cholesterol is bad for you, you shouldn't eat. I'm just telling you, eggs are not bad for you. Now they're coming around the other way. They're going, oh, we were wrong. Now they're good for you. Listen, guys, everybody's going to try to infiltrate your mind with all this dietary junk that comes out of all these new diets and what you should and shouldn't eat. Listen, I'm just telling you, if you will watch your calories, if you will take care of your calories, understand what they are, make little decisions, better decisions in life, in the end, telling you all this stuff, you'll hear stuff come, you'll hear stuff go. In the end, you're going to do great. You're going to be healthy. You'll be at an ideal weight. You'll live a long, healthy life if you'll just focus on your calories. And we look at a little bit of quality too, but the calories being the number one concern before anything else, because you can do great. You can eat really low fat, but still be fat because you're getting too many calories. You can eat really healthy fats and be a healthy fat person. And you're still healthy because you're eating healthy fats. That's why calories still in the end is what makes a difference. It's not fats, it's just calories. That's what we're talking about. So on eggs, when you're looking at egg, a typical egg is actually 56% in fat. That's too high, right? Well, this is what I do. This is what Gina and I do, is I'll actually do 3 whites to 1 yolk. That gets me down to 30% fat, which gets me within that ideal range, the high end of the ideal range for a protein source for me. So for that, a couple different ways. If I'm doing scrambled eggs, I'll mix it in. Or if I want to do over easy, I love over easy. I love the taste of that runny yolk. Don't you love that runny, warm yolk? Over easy is awesome. So you think you'd have to give it up? No, I do. I cook 2 egg whites and I cook a third one, regular over easy, put it on top of the other 2, break the yolk, and it's plenty of yolk to cover all 3 of the whites. And it tastes fantastic. You really don't know the difference of just doing 1, because most of you would go get 2 or 3 over easy eggs. Instead, do 2 egg whites and 1 yolk. Whatever you're doing, cut it down. That gets you down within your ideal range. That's a little thing that makes a big difference. Now you can do complete egg whites. That's great, but a lot of people don't like egg whites alone. I'll tell you, if you do them long enough, you get used to it. I love egg whites. When I go out to restaurants, I just order egg whites with what I'm doing because they don't know how to do a 3-to-1 ratio, and I love egg whites. But I also do like the yolks, and the yolk actually does have some great nutritional value in it for you. Just the problem is not getting too much of it. That's what's bad for you. And again, calories. So you could just do 1 egg, 1 over easy egg, and if you're just 1 over easy egg, it's okay. You're only at 90 calories. It's when you start building up the quantities and getting your calories up. Go to the next slide, slide 19. Nuts are healthy for you, right? Grab a handful of nuts and let's just eat some nuts for a snack. Again, people think this way. I'm just eating, it's healthy, it's good for me. Well, when you look at these nuts here, it's 82% of your calories from fat. Again, not totally worried about the 82% calories from fat. I understand that there's some healthy fats mixed in there. There's some that aren't as healthy, but there's healthy fats mixed in there. But the concern is when you look at the amount of calories in that container, look at your serving size. There's 10 servings in there. That's 170 each. That's 1,700 calories. It would not be hard. This is not a big can. It's a small can. It would not be hard for most of you to sit down and eat half of that can. Most of you men would probably eat the whole can, half of that can. Well, that's got you at 850 calories. And that's a meal. That's a meal for you just ate as a snack. You got to watch those calories, know what's in it, understand how to read the label. Go to slide number 20. Cheese. Let's talk about cheese. Not the cheese that's on your rear end, your thighs, but this cheese. But actually, this cheese could end up there. You don't watch your calories. Same thing, right? So here's a regular medium cheese. Nothing special about it. It's just a regular cheese. You look at the fact, it's got 110 calories, 80 from fat. Do the math. That's 72% calories from fat. Now listen, if you're doing 1 little slice on a sandwich or something else, sometimes what I would do for my kids or my wife, if they want some, is actually take it and not just lay a whole slice in there. Take like half a slice, break it up, melt it on there. It tastes great. You get the flavor, and you cut the calories down. Sounds like, well, that's such a little thing. Is that going to make a big difference? Here's what people do all the time. They're out to eat and they go, oh, I'll just have this. Oh, I'll just have that. It's not going to make a big difference. What's a little bit going to hurt? A little bit will hurt a lot. It's about making smart decisions along the way. And if you continually make those smart little decisions, when it's time to have a splurge, you can do it and it doesn't kill you. But when the splurges are little ones continuously along the way, what happens is you have such a big problem, you can never afford to have those enjoyment times because you're always worried about your weight. So on this one, 72% fat. We'll go to the next slide, slide 21. And this is a reduced fat, 33% less fat, 25% less calories, 10 slices. It's at 58% fat. But still, when you look at the end, it's 60 calories per slice versus the other one was 110 calories for one slice. So that makes a big difference in your fat. So you could look at a reduced fat. Now, a lot of people don't like to do the fat-free because the fat-free is just like to them some sort of chemical mixture. And I agree with a lot of y'all. But you can look at some of the ones that are reduced. This is from a 2% milk fat, which again still has a lot of fat, but limit your quantities. If you limit your quantities, you're okay. Go to the next slide, slide 22. Sausage. Who didn't love some sausage for breakfast, right? This one is one example, 82% calories from fat, 280 calories in a serving. Go to the next slide, slide 21. But if I go to a chicken sausage, again, just because it's chicken sausage doesn't mean it's super lean. It says 70% less fat. That does have less fat. It still is 46% fat, though. So you got to watch your calories. So you're at 130 calories versus 280. That makes a big difference, but that doesn't mean you can eat twice as many, because if you eat twice as many, you just blew the reason for getting it. When you're looking at things like this that have great flavor, that are higher in fat, and I'll show you some of that too. Well, let's go to the next one. Go to slide 24, bacon. Man, bacon has such great flavor, right? So the problem is that bacon, you're looking at a regular bacon here, not a particularly fatty one, it's 78% calories from fat. That is so much. So sit there and eat several strips of bacon is crazy because you're getting pure fat and you're getting pure calories in your system as well too. But to use some bacon, to use some sausage in your cooking, there's nothing wrong. Pick a smarter version. Go to the next slide, slide 25. This is the one I use. Actually, I just cooked it yesterday morning in our breakfast, and tomorrow morning I've got some more I'll use tomorrow morning. I'll cut up just a little bit. I cook it up and I put it in our eggs in the morning because my wife, Gina, she loves the flavor of bacon. When you look at this, it's 55% calories from fat. Still, it's higher than what our acceptable protein level is, but what I do is I compensate in my egg whites and have more egg whites, less yolks. So in the end, it still keeps me in that 30% range, but I get that great bacon flavor mixed in there, usually a little asparagus, sometimes some onions or red peppers or green peppers or something else thrown in there. It's great. But the one I like about this bacon as well too is the way it's cut, actually all along the edge, and you can see in that picture there, all along that edge there, it has one big slab of bacon. So you know what I do? I actually even trim that off. Why? Is that going to make a big difference? Yeah, it is in the end, because now I'm going to get myself down closer to 40% fat when I cook it up. Listen, you can't taste the difference. It still has plenty of grease, plenty of bacon fat, and it tastes fantastic. And so it's little things along the way like that we do. We do these little things that make a big difference. Go to slide 26. Let's talk about everybody's biggest problem, snacks. Sit in front of the TV, popping open a bag of chips, right? Here's a bag of chips right here, 160 calories. Doesn't sound that awful, right? Well, there's 10 servings in a bag. That's 1,600 calories. Not a whole lot of people, because one serving is 15 chips. Now, you might be somebody that can eat 15 chips and you're happy. And that's great. My wife's that way. She can have a half of a piece of chocolate and be perfectly content. For me, if I'm not going to eat the whole box, what's the point, right? Because when I eat something, I taste it, I like to eat more. Well, if you're not the type of person that can limit your quantity down to only 15 chips and you're going to eat a half a bag, well, you just got yourself 800 calories. That's a meal. Now, it's okay if you're going to use that instead of your meal. It's not the healthiest meal, not necessarily going to feel the best, but it's going to keep your calories where you need to be if you're only going to eat that. Actually, for most people, most women, 800 is a little high even. So you've got to watch these snacks. These are what are going to kill you and throw you way over the top. Go to the next slide, slide 27. Here's a reduced fat chip, right? A reduced fat chip gets us down to 140 for 13 chips. Wow, okay, so for two less chips, you got to watch it, we're getting 20 less calories. So if we add those two more back in, we're really only getting 10 less calories. So we are getting a little bit less fat, a little better quality of calories, but our calories still aren't a whole lot different. So a lot of people grab this reduced fat bag of chips, say, well, I normally eat a half a bag of the regular chips. I'm going to eat a whole bag of the reduced fat, or even eat the same amount and think I'm making a big difference, but it really doesn't. It's a few calories. It's not that little bit that makes a big difference. So in the end, what ends up happening is they're concerned, why aren't I losing weight? They get discouraged and they quit. So important to understand the real truth of how many calories you're getting in. Go to slide 28. Here's another one of those mixes, trail mixes. This one gets you down to calories, 120 calories, right? Good thing is there's only 8 servings in the bag. So if you're a whole bag person, not only are you getting less calories, but you're also getting less servings in a bag. So you can control yourself. Hopefully, at least the bag size controls you. But when you're looking at this, don't think, well, trail mixes are better, right? No, they're not all the same. They're completely different. Some are huge in their calories. Some are way lower. You've got to turn over. You've got to read the label. Listen, guys, you've got to educate yourself. You've got to know how many calories you're putting in if you're ever going to deal with how many calories you're storing. If you really want to see a difference and make a difference in that, you've got to educate yourself. Go to slide 29. Here's some crackers, right? These crackers, for 5 crackers, you got yourself 80 calories. But when you look at the fat content in it, it's 50% calories from fat. Pretty high for a cracker, but you're looking at, if I only had 1 serving, I had 5 crackers, that still would be okay. It's 80 calories if that's my entire snack. A lot of people aren't going to just do that, though. Go to slide 30. But this one, you're looking at 16 pieces. For this one, 16 basic versus the other one was 5. And for this one, for 16, you're getting 140 calories versus the other one was 80. So still, when you look at it, it's not that big of a difference in the amount of calories because it's twice as much of a serving. But when you look at the grams are twice as much too. So you think, wow, this is, I'm doing better because the fat's a lot lower. But actually what you are doing is you're getting a bigger quantity. When you look at how many calories there are, this actually is a better choice because you're getting a lot less calories per cracker than you are on the other one. But you want to make sure the quantity of crackers you eat, look at your serving size is crucial. Here's the low-fat version of that. When you look at it, it's 130 versus 140. Not a huge difference in the calorie serving. Fat is a little bit better. It's whole grain, so it does still have a little better health attributes, but your calories are still the deal. Just because it says reduced fat, just because it says healthy, just because it says gluten-free or whatever else you look at, does not mean that you're going to lose weight eating it. You've got to look at the calorie count. Go to slide number 32. Oreo cookies. Who does not love Oreo cookies? Hey, Oreo cookies, right? If I take Oreo cookies and I look at the calories, this little thing on the top off, sorry, I put that up there and I didn't reread what I put on there. It has the same amount of calories as 10 Ritz crackers, not 5. So if you take 2 servings of Ritz crackers versus 3 Oreo cookies, you get the same amount of calories. Does your body know the difference? Not a whole lot. The quality of them is not a lot different. But if you like Oreo cookies, listen, 160 calories for 3 cookies. If that's your snack, if you have 2, that'll get you down closer to, what would that be, 40, 50 or so. So it'd be about 100 calories if you just had 2 cookies. And you go, for a lot of people, that's it. They love it. That's great. It's okay because you've got to look at your calories. Listen, it's not that you got to eat cardboard. You don't got to eat roots from your tree and grass out of your yard. You just got to watch your calories. You got to control it if you want to get your weight under control. And so it's about giving yourself the things that you enjoy, but while you're giving the things you enjoy, it's about making those little exceptions along the way, that those concessions along the way that add up and make up for the calories of what you're eating and limiting your quantity in what you're doing so that it's not just about quality, it's about quantity, more about quantity than anything else. Go to slide 33. Here's another example of another cookie. This one, you get to have 8 for 140 calories versus on the Oreo, you get to have 3 for 160. But you know what? If you like 3 Oreos better than you like 8 of these cookies, you know what I would do? I would go for 3 Oreos any day. Why not? Get something you enjoy. But that's if that calorie is in your allowance of how many you can have. Crucial. Go to 34. Here's the reduced fat version of that same cookie. Instead of 140 down to 120 calories. A little bit of difference, but if you like the flavor the same, why wouldn't you do it? Because this one also, you're getting in each thing, you're getting the same amount of servings. 8 wafers. But you're getting a little bit less calories. But if you don't like the flavor, hey, give yourself the one you enjoy. Just make sure you accommodate for the amount of calories that you're eating. Go to slide 35. Here's an example of one of these breakfast bars that's very healthy as far as the quality of the ingredients and everything else too. But look at it, it's 140 calories. And those bars, if you've ever seen them, they are little tiny. I need about 4 of them to even get started, okay? So again, even though something looks healthy, and it is healthy based on the quality of some of the ingredients that are in it, you've got to look at the calorie count if you're concerned about your weight, because that is the most important thing. That's the only thing that's going to make a difference as far as your weight, the amount that you store. Go to slide 36. Cereal, breakfast in the morning, common one people eat all the time, right? Look at the serving size. Look at the calories. Go to slide 37. Look at the two of them side by side. Now let me tell you something. A lot of people go, well, I just have nothing but a bowl of cereal for the morning. Well, look, there's not that many calories in cereal, right? 110. Look at the one on the right. 110. Look at the serving size, 3/4 of a cup. You know how big a 3/4 of a cup is? Here's a 3/4 cup. Brought this just for interest. This is 3/4 of a cup right here. This is not a cereal bowl for me. Here's my spoon in 3/4 of a cup. And this is not a big spoon. This is a regular tablespoon. That is how little 3/4 of a cup is. Nobody is going to eat 3/4 of a cup unless you're some kind of little mouse or something. This would be an actual cereal bowl that people would eat. And this is 3/4 of a cup. And then this would be the cereal bowl that Tad would eat if Tad was to eat cereal. Because I'm not going to limit the quantity. So you know what? I'm not going to have cereal. I'm going to find other things I enjoy to be able to have the calories. But listen, you can limit yourself to 3/4 of a cup because remember, now you got to add in the milk you're going to put in there too. Oh, we're going to talk about milk in just a minute. We're going to get to that. But look at the calories and understand how many you're getting. You're thinking it's healthy. It's got bran. It's good for me. It's got natural stuff in it. But you got to look at the calories. It's crucial. Go to slide 38. Here's oatmeal in the morning, right? Oatmeal is a good healthy option. Why? You don't put the milk in, everything else too. Typically, if you look at how much oatmeal you'll eat versus the amount of cereal you'll eat with milk, typically your calories you're going to ingest to get the same amount of feeling full from it and the same amount of fiber and good things from it. You're going to usually end up at almost half to maybe 60% of as many calories. So look at what you want to eat for breakfast when you're looking at your carbohydrate source. Go to slide number 39. Bread. Listen, it's not about starches. It's not about breads and everything else. Everybody says, it's funny because I would eat bread sometime, and now I just have like gluten-free bread, but people would go, I can't believe you eat bread. Usually these people that are saying it to me are like 50 or 100 pounds overweight, and they're going to me and say, I can't believe you'd eat that. And typically the people who worry about their weight and don't have their weight under control are always the ones critiquing me on what I'm eating. That's what I love, because they don't understand. I make little changes. I do things a little bit different, and that's what makes the big difference in the end. So looking at bread here, this is an enriched white bread, right? 130 calories for 2 slices. Go to slide 40. This is a good, hearty, whole grain bread. 1 slice is 90 calories versus we're at 130 for 2. So we got a lot more calories. It's healthier for you, but we got a lot more calories. Go to slide number 41. Now here's one that's got a little bit healthier. It's got some grain in it, but now we're only at 45 calories for 2 slices, a fraction of the amount. So if I'm going to have bread and I'm trying to watch my calories, I need to look at a bread like this. Now here's why you got to be conscientious of breads and starches, because the calories rack up quick. It's not because of all the glycemic index and everything else everybody else says. Listen, again, that's so minute you'll never notice the difference. The problem is the number of calories that you're getting in. They rack up the calories very quickly because they're very calorie rich, because they're very processed too. Go to slide number 42. Even vegetables, when you're looking at your vegetables, right? When you're looking at calorie amounts, you're looking at 70 and 80 calories versus 20 calories for beans. Why? Because corns and peas are higher starches. As a result, starches are richer. They have a different form of sugar, basically, that your body absorbs, the carbohydrates. And because it's rich in that, what happens is it doesn't have as much fiber, and it ends up having a lot more calories in it. Does that mean you shouldn't have corn, you shouldn't have peas? No, I'm not saying that. I'm trying to teach you to educate yourself and read your labels and look at what you're doing. Because if you're to eat a can of green beans versus a can of corn, you're going to do a lot better if you're trying to lose weight eating the can of green beans, and you'll probably find yourself being more full with a can of green beans because you're getting a lot more fiber. Go to slide 43 and let's talk about liquids as we start to wrap this up here. Milk, right? Whole milk right here, just regular old milk, good old milk. 150 calories, 70 from fat, about 50%, a little bit under that, 45% calories from fat. But look at the calories per serving. 1 cup serving, 240 milliliters, it's 150 calories. Go to the next slide, slide 44. Now this is a 2% reduced. 135 calories, 45 from fat. So you're still up there at about the 35 to 40% fat range, but your calories are 130 for 1 cup versus 150. It's a little bit better. 2% is a little bit better than whole milk. But when we get to fat-free milk, which is the next one, 45, I find it interesting. They rarely call it skim anymore. They call it fat-free. Marketing, go figure. You're at 90 calories for a cup. 90 calories versus when we were at whole milk, right? We were at 150 calories. So now we're down a dramatic amount. As a result, we're down about 40% in our calorie intake. Now, should you just be drinking glasses of milk? If you have that calculated into your calories accepted for the day. But here's one of the big areas so many people go wrong. Chips was a big one. Starch is a big one, but another huge one is drinking their calories. Man, people drink their calories like crazy. And let me tell you something. Calories that are liquid have nothing really to break down. There's no fiber, so your body has to absorb them even more quickly, so it's even harder to deal with. But man, you rack up the calories really quick when you're drinking your calories. Go to slide 46. I'll show you. Here's soy milk. A little bit better. It's 120 calories than what we were with the higher fat milks for the same size serving. Go to 47. Now we're at a pure almond milk. We're down to 60 calories, okay? Why? When you're looking at soy milk and almond milk, it's not necessarily that almond milk's better. This particular one has a little less sugar added. Most of those drinks have sugar added unless you look at the one that says no sugar added. And even when you do, don't just look at the calories, guys. Look at the serving size. They can trick you very quickly and go, oh, we have half as many calories, but the serving is 1/3 of the other one. So look, understand not just calories, not just fat. Always understand the serving size and then understand how many servings are you eating so you know how many calories you're taking in. Go to slide 48, lemonade. What's so harmful about lemonade? Kids on the corner selling it. It's not like it's crack cocaine. Come on. It is like crack cocaine for some people, particularly at 120 calories for the same serving as what you're getting from milk. You might think lemonade's better for you. You're still getting the calories the same, and you're actually not getting a lot of the nutrients. You're just getting pure sugar water. Go to 49, orange juice, 110 calories. Again, is there a little more nutritional value? Sure. But you still got calories. Your body got to deal with pure sugar. Even though it's natural sugar, it's all sugar, and your body's got to deal with 110 calories very quickly. And when you look at the serving size, there's 11 servings in that. Most people are drinking more than one serving, racking up what they should be eating in a meal just in their liquids alone. Go to number 50, Dr. Pepper. That's healthy. Sodas, period, right? 150 calories. Not a lot more than juice. Not a lot more than milk. About the same as the higher fat milks for the same size serving. Next one, go to slide 51, same deal, 170. Look at slide 52. You're looking at 140, a little bit less calories, but still in the end, if you look at all these, whether it's juice, whether it's soda, whatever it is, people are getting the same amount of calories and they're doing it and they're drinking calories and they're getting hundreds, if not over 1,000 calories a day in liquids, and they're not even counting that, thinking, I'm wondering, why can't I lose weight? And there's some people, literally, if you look at it, they're drinking over 2,000 calories a day just in their sodas. Just consuming them and not even paying attention and wondering why they have a weight problem. It's calories in, guys. Go to slide 53. Same thing here on slide 53. Go to slide 54, and here's the best thing you can drink. Why? 0 calories, water. Doesn't matter how you slice it or dice it. Water, if you don't add nothing, it's always got 0 calories. It's great for you. It's healthy. And as a result, you're not going to put all that weight on because you're making concessions there. So you know what? Now when you go to eat, let's say you normally drink 400 or 500 calories in liquids, you can actually eat the same amount. You start losing weight, or even eat another 100 or 150 calories, and you're still losing weight because your calorie count is down. You're going to lose weight. It's calories in minus calories burned, guy. We got to get less calories in. Go to slide 55. This is a Greek yogurt. Big deal now. People like it. Look, for 150 calories, usually most people do pretty good with just one serving of that. It's got a decent quality of types of proteins and carbohydrates mixed inside of there. But in the end, you're still getting a good amount of calories for a snack. A snack between 100 to 150 calories is ideal for a snack. Go to slide 56. But now if you look at an apple, a regular medium-sized apple is 93 calories. So 93 calories for an apple, man, that's not, when you eat an apple, here's what I tell you. I found this. If I'm hungry, I eat an apple. I'm not hungry afterwards. If I ever try to eat a second apple, it's almost sickening because my stomach can't handle it because there's so much fiber in it. And I just can't consume that many calories. So it's high in fiber. When you look at the fiber content alone, 4.3 grams of fiber in less than 100 calories. It's amazing. And as a result, it's very filling. But go to the next slide, slide 57. Your donuts, right? 240 calories in donuts. Well, you know, apple's a little bit bigger, really be closer to 100, 110 or 20 calories if you go to a little bit above to a large size apple. That was a medium size apple I gave you. And this is for 4 donuts. If you said, listen, I'd be perfectly happy with 2 of these donuts. 2 of these donuts would make me a lot happier than eating this large apple. Well, you know what, in the end, here's what I'm telling you. If you're trying to lose weight and you can really limit it to those 2 donuts, you're okay. You're getting your calories down. Listen, I know a lot of people are going to crucify me for saying this. They're going to be hanging me out to dry on social media. But listen, guys, I'm telling you, the number one most important thing is your calories. Once we get your calories where they need to be, you get your weight where you need to be, and you start weighing what you need to be, and you're healthy, we can start looking a little more at some fine-tuning, some healthier choices as you go along the way. But right now, what we got to deal with is we got to get less calories in. Go to slide 58 and let me close with this. I'm going to give you some homework, and here's your homework if you're going to get less calories in. Number one, weigh yourself the next 3 days in a row. Weigh yourself. Morning and night, weigh yourself and write down your weight and keep track of it. Why are we doing it 3 days in a row? Because your weight fluctuates. Mine can go up and down as much as 5 to 8 pounds in a day just in water weight. So a lot of your water weight fluctuates. To find out what your true baseline is, don't change your diet though. Eat the same. And then continue to eat the same for 7 days after this. So this is 10 days later. The whole time you're doing it though, you're not changing your diet at all. I want you to take a picture of everything that you eat. Take a picture of everything that you eat, and then along the way, look it up online. If it's not on the package, you don't have the serving size and the calories because you're eating something out, you can go online and find the calories in every food that's at about every restaurant that's remotely popular, and if not, you can look up something similar. Start counting your calories when you lay down in bed at night. Take everything that you eat and calculate your calories, and then 7 days later, after that, weigh yourself without changing your diet. Why? Because we're establishing your baseline. And you're going to reweigh yourself when you do it. Why are you going to reweigh yourself? Because if you weigh less, you cheated. You ate less. That's why. And that's okay. Because you know what that means? Keep doing what you're doing. You're already losing weight. You're on your way without even having made a change in your mind. You just cheated by not cheating, I guess you could say, however you want to word it. We want to see what your baseline is because here's what I'll tell you. I weigh 200 pounds. There's people who weigh and I'm at about probably 5% body fat. There's men that are even my height that weigh 200 pounds that are 20% body fat. It has nothing to do with your body weight. When people try to tell you, here's how many calories you need to eat for your body weight, there's no way to determine it. Everybody's different. If you're going to find out how many calories you need to take in order to store less calories, you got to know how many calories you're eating now to maintain where you're at. And once you know how many calories they are, that's when we can start looking at all these things I just taught you. How many calories are in the food, and start saying, what can I do to get those calories down consistently and still live life, still enjoy myself? Listen, my wife and I, we eat stuff we love. We eat stuff we enjoy. We just make concessions on days where we work out less, we eat less. Days we work out more, we eat more. Somebody asked me this weekend, they said, man, I can't believe, how do you eat that and you're in the shape you're in? I said, well, just so happened that today I've worked out twice. I did a great workout. I said, I'm giving myself a treat, but I promise you, tomorrow I'm not going to work out. I won't eat that because for me, I'm always gauging. It's like a savings account or a checking account. Problem is, most people in this world are living overdrawn. Their body's in credit card debt, and they're paying 21, 25% interest on their body fat. Listen, let's get the calories down. Do this homework. Tune back in Thursday. Go to the next slide. Next slide is number 59. Pre-plan, prepare, pre-eat, prevent, prevail. That's what we're doing. We're getting ready. You're ready for success. But if you go to slide 60, you'll see that on Thursday, I'm going to be talking about secret calorie burners. Secret calorie burners. While right now, while you're working on how many you're taking in by tracking it and figure out where it is, tune in on Thursday, and I'm going to start showing you some things that you didn't know you could do. Top secret stuff that nobody knows, just me. Little things, though. They're not that hard. They're little things. They're calorie burners that are going to turn you into a calorie burning machine. You're eating less. You're burning more. You're going to be storing less. You're going to go from your hey to a hey. Look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Tune back in 3 p.m. and tell your friends about this. People need help today. That's what I'm doing this for, is to help people. If you want I got any questions, you want any help with your workout or diet, you can email me at tad@atadbitmorefit.com. I help people via the internet, Skype, different ways that I do that. It doesn't have to be here local in the Dallas area. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching this. Do what I said. Do that homework. Tune back in, and I look forward to helping you reach those health and wellness goals. God bless you. Have a great day.